Hello, welcome to Cypress Automation. This is Sharful. In this lecture, we're going to see how to use text method in Cypress. It means if you want to grab a text from any web element, usually we know that in Selenium or other automation tools we use the text method. So how we can use the similar text method in Cypress to get a text from your web element. We'll see how to do this in Cypress. So in Cypress, we know it's in Cypress in nature is asynchronized. This is a Cypress built in nature. It's asynchronized. So to maintain the synchronization, since Cypress is asynchronized, it means it doesn't execute a script line by line that as you write our code, but this is very necessary to maintain the synchronization so that the way we write our code it's execute as per the order. To maintain this synchronization, Cypress uses a wrapper in the backend so that every step execute in sequence. To do so, Cypress has the mechanism. There is a hidden function in this wrapper which is called .then function or .then method. It is already written in behind the scene. We don't see it usually. So, and this .then method is it's ensure that it's execute all the line as per the sequence or order. However, the promised result does not always work automatically. There is some certain condition. If we use, say example, constant variable or some non-Cypress command, that time that the promised result is not confirmed, or we can't guarantee that promised result will work automatically. So to do that, we need to write this .then method manually in our code to maintain this synchronization. Okay, example, the text method is one of the example. The text method in Cypress is not a built-in Cypress method. Still we can use it, but it's not inbuilt command. So it is a jQuery method which is supported by Cypress. So it's possible you can use it, but this is actually a jQuery method. So that's why, since text method it's not a built-in command, so to use this method we have to use this .then function in our code so that it work as we expect the synchronization way. Okay, let's see some example how this works. So in our BS code, I created a JS file. It's called text.js. So here I'm gonna write our describe function as well as the in function. So we'll say describe, and then as you know it has a two part. One part is the it works like a test suite. So what is the name of your test suite? You can say my test suite, and then it has a second part which is a function, right? I think you already know it. If you don't know, please watch my previous video from the very beginning, so you will understand the Mocha framework, how this works. So this is describe. Again, it works as a test suite, and inside the describe we'll have a it block, and it block is just nothing you can consider as a test case. So each it block is one test case. So we'll write it, and then it will have again the same like a two argument it takes. So one is like the title of your test case, you can assume it. So I would say get text, I would say using text method. So we're going to use the text method in two different way. There is a different two different way you can use the text method to grab or to get a text from an web element in Cypress. So this is option number one. So get text using text method. So I would say option 1. Okay, so this is example. It's the title of the test case, and then second part of this it block is a function. So you can write same way function and then closing bracket. So here our first we're going to visit our site, so we'll say site.visit. So our site example would be, okay, so would be this is our site example. So let's put the URL in my code. So this is the URL to visit the site, and after that it's a very simple test case. It would be like we have a title, automation practice, right? So we're going to spy this automation practice, this title, this element, and we'll grab the text, we'll grab the text from there. So how we can do this? First, let's select this element, right? This inspect and then the selected, and here is a related code. You can see it has a class. We can use the class. You can see I already did it, so you can just put your crop path. You also verify it. So it's a class dot. So you can see one element selected. It is selected already over here. So this is the related HTML code. So we're going to use this class to spy this element, right? So we'll say sci dot and then get, and then what's the a locator, the CSS selector. This is the CSS selector, and after that we're going to use, as I said, to invoke, to destruct any text from an element. We need to use text method. So this is option 1. So, and it's a text method, as we started at the beginning of our lecture. I said the text method in Cypress is not an inbuilt method. It's not an inbuilt command. It is a jQuery command. So, but it's a Cypress support jQuery command. There's a lot of jQuery command you are going to use. You can use in Cypress. So to do so, we have to invoke that function, that text function. So Cypress, it has an invoke method to invoke any jQuery method. So that's why we have to first call the invoke function. Invoke, you can see here is a invoke. Invoke is a built-in command in Cypress which is used to invoke any external jQuery command. So what's the command name? It's called text, right? So text, text. You can search Google to know more about text function in jQuery. You will get more information. I don't want to go through in details about the text function, right? So after that, and then since this text function, this is a external command, it's not inbuilt, as I said, to maintain the synchronization of Cypress, we have to use dot then function. And if we use any non-Cypress command, we have to write dot then function manually in our code. Other than it will not follow the synchronization. So write the then function, and then we're going to pass and parameter in this then function. So example text 1. So it will hold, so this is the element, and this element will apply on this element. The text function will be applied on this element to get the text from this element, and then I'm passing another argument which is the text 1, so that this variable can hold the value of the text from this element, right? From this element. So this text 1 will have the value of the text from this element, right? So that's what I'm doing here. And so since I use the dot then function, so this is a dot then function, so you have to use, so for the then function we're going to use, right? And as you know, in Cypress, this is the the arrow or fat pie. It comes with with your function when you write. You can write this way, or you can write or this way. It's up to you, right? So, and I think one here. I think okay, text. isn't I'm okay, no worries, I will fix it. Okay, this is the one, this is the one for this, this is the one for this, and this is the one for this. Okay, so I think we don't need this, right? So after that, right, let's keep it to this one as fine. And then, so as I said, like text1 is a variable we declare, and this variable will get the the actual text from this element, and the text will get through this invoking this text function. So what I'm going to do, we're going to we'll make sure that this text, so this text, it should assign with the text of this element. So we'll just confirm that this text is equal to actual this text. So we should have this is the text, right? So our variable should have this value, it should assign this, it should supposed to get this automation text, right? So we're going to do some assertion. So to do this, we'll say expect, this is the inbuild command, expect to do the assertion, a text assertion. So we'll say text1, so we'll say expect text1 dot to dot equal you can put eq, I believe, eq, and then it should match, right? So usually expect function use in Cypress to do assertion between a string, between two string. So this text1 should have a string, should have a text of from this element, and which should be equals to automation practice this, right? So then if this both match, then we'll understand, we'll confirm that this text1 have a value of this automation practice, this text, right? So this is the one. Okay, and then let's, right, okay, I think we're missing here is one, this one also missing one bracket. Okay, so this is the one, this is the one way to use the text function. There is another way we can do. Let's create another it block. For the same test cases, we're going to use text method different way. You can do this, like so example, what would be the title? I would say get text using text method, so the option 2, right? And then function, right? Function. Okay, and here, so first let's go to the same URL. So I'm just copying and paste here, CY visit this line, and after that we're going to use the same sci to spy the element, sci get, this is the CSS selector, dot, in this time we're going to just use use the then function, and then say inside the then we're going to call a function, and inside a function let's pass a also variable which is text2, right? And then instead of using our arrow or fat pad, you can use this, right? Okay, I think I put an extra one. Okay, looks good. So here. So this is the another way. So you spy the locator, then instead of invoking text function in your same line, you just we definitely have to use the then function to maintain our synchronization. Since this is a we're going to use the text function inside the code over here, inside the function. Okay, so as long as you are using outside or non-Cypress command, we have to use the .then function .that function to maintain the synchronization. So we call the then function, and then inside the function we pass a parameter which is a text2, or you can say variable, which will hold this element. So this element, whatever the element, this one, the value of this element is now assigned to this text2 variable. So inside there we're going to say, example, we're going to print this variable. So this variable, it means this element. So whatever the value, this value should assign to this variable. So if we print this variable, it should print that value of this variable. So this variable is nothing in a web element. If we want to extract the text from this element, it means from this variable. So we're going to use this variable. So this variable dot, if we say text method, we can call this text method. So what I'm doing, so I'm applying text function to this variable. So this text variable, so this text variable is nothing, it's nothing, it is the the element of this title, right? So it means whatever the element, from this element, the text method will apply up there. It means it will get the that's the text from this element. And if we want to print in our console from the whatever the text, we can print it. To do so, we can call the sci.log function. So sci.log function will nothing, it will just print the whatever is the value over here, so which is just the text of this text2 variable. So that's it. That's the way, two different way. This is one way. Use the text function inside the code, and or you can just put right there. It's a similar, it's both are same, right? Same way works. Just I'm going to show you two different way, whatever way you feel like good. Okay, save it, make sure you save it, and after that, no error. Let's open our test runner. So npm run sci open. There we go. So our test runner is open, and what's our spec file? It's a text.js, text.js. So this is the one. Click on there. Okay, so it's launching the site. You can see there's a two test cases, right? This is the first one, option 1, and this is the second one, option 2. So the first one is pass, and second one is also pass. So if you see in details, you can see visit the site, then it's get the spy the element. You can see spy the element and invoke the text function. It means it's get the text from that element, and then it's match the expected. So we said whatever the text, it should match with automation practice, which equals to automation practice, which is equal, and it's pass. And the second one, you can say after it's spy the element, we say we printed, right? We printed the what's called the variable that we use, or assign this element, we assign to the variable, and we print that, right? So the print, it is the print, right? You can see here we say log sci.log, it's print. So print what's the output using the text function on this variable, which is the automation practice, right? Automation practice, right? So that's the way you can use either way. So both are right. So it's up to you. That's the only two way you can use a text function easily to extract any text from an web element in Cypress. I hope it's very clear. It's easy, but it's a very very useful method everywhere in our automation script. Thanks a lot. Stay tuned. Watch for the next video. Have a good one. Bye bye.